Hi guys, AITAH. Welcome back to my channel. Today guys, I have a story for you titled, Am I the a-hole for not tipping my waitress after she didn't tip me for the Uber Eats order that I delivered a few days ago? Listen, title alone, you're not the a-hole, but let's find out exactly what happened reading through the rest of the story. It starts off with him saying, I drive for Uber Eats in Seattle. You may have heard in the news about a new law which was implemented in Seattle instituting minimum pay requirements for companies like Uber Eats to its drivers. As a result, Uber has instituted a number of changes to the app, one of which is to remove pre-tipping and only giving customers the option to add a tip after the delivery. An interesting result of this change is that very few customers are now leaving any tip whatsoever, while Uber themselves generally pays me more per each order. I mean, look, companies should never not... You know what? Let me rephrase it. Companies should always pay people a minimum wage that is a livable minimum wage, right? And this whole culture of we'll pay you, let's say $2-3 and the rest comes from tipping should be illegal. It generally should be illegal. I mean, it's not a thing here in the UK where I'm from. I know it's quite big in the US, especially in the restaurant business and the kind of catering business, but it's definitely not a good approach to take. And the fact that Uber Eats, I should say, instituted this change to have a minimum wage in essence, because that's fundamentally what's happening here, it's definitely good, because even if clients don't tip, then it means that you're still having a livable wage, right? Nonetheless, it continues. Anyways, earlier this week, I was making deliveries under this new system. Out of 17 deliveries I made that day, only a single person left a tip of $3. Wow, okay, that's actually really low. One of the deliveries I made was to an apartment complex where the customer requested to meet outside the building. I parked right outside the entrance and I messaged the customer that I'd arrived and that I am inside the car, to which I received no reply at all. 6 minutes later, the customer came over after, which I ended her delivery. She left no tip whatsoever. Okay, look. Right, I made the whole discussion at the start when I mentioned, people shouldn't have to tip. So the fact that she left no tip is really not the end of the world, right? Hey, you've done a service, Uber Eats paying you, a livable wage. She didn't tip. That's the end of the interaction, right? Nothing to be salty or angry about. But it continues. I went out to eat tonight with my girlfriend, and this very same customer from a few days ago was my server. Okay, so now that tables have turned. She actually did recognize me when she came to our table. Once she left, I told my girlfriend about how she made me wait for 6 minutes without messaging me at all, and how she didn't leave me any tip whatsoever. She suggested that she shouldn't tip her. She, as in his girlfriend, suggested that we shouldn't tip her either, and I agreed. The dinner went fine, and there wasn't anything wrong with the service. When the bill came, I, of course, left the tip line blank. As we were leaving the restaurant, the server came over and asked us if everything was all right. I told her that everything was fine. She asked me if I forgot to leave a tip, to which I replied I didn't tip her. I pointed out that she didn't tip me when I delivered her food a few days ago, and that she shouldn't be upset because Washington State has the same minimum wage for tipped employees as every other employee. She just gave me a bewildered look and walked away as we left the restaurant. So guys, I guess the question at hand is he the a-hole? And quite frankly, I'd say no. I'd say literally the same thing that I mentioned with regards to the Uber Eats at the start. He just mentioned in his post that because she's in Washington State, they have the same regulations when it comes to the restaurant industry. So yeah, no, he shouldn't have to tip, especially considering that she didn't tip when she was on the opposite end of receiving the service. But nonetheless, guys, I'll let you guys let us know your comments and thoughts, and I'm out. Peace.